Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 52 units of real estate and I help coach people to buy their first multifamily deal. So I've been doing a lot of self-reflection lately and kind of been thinking about this interesting cycle and mindset that you go through while you build wealth. So, in the beginning, when you don't have much wealth, you're kind of in a phase of lack. So in this phase of lack, you feel like you lack money, you lack resources, you lack time. And it could be twofold. It could be part mindset, where a lot of, depending on how you grew up, if you grew up, poorer, in poverty, lower socioeconomic status, then it just might be a mindset thing. And then, the other part could be, you just maybe haven't started working long enough or building wealth long enough, or you're just too young. So you just lack a lot of resources. For me, I never felt like I lacked resources. I just felt like, I just graduated from pharmacy school, back in 2013, and I haven't had enough time to work to let things compound in my favor. So, for me, it's like you come from a place of lack. And then, so now once you're in a place of lack, you set goals, right? So like for me, my goal was to retire by 35, make $20,000 a month in positive cash flow. And I had an arbitrary real estate goal of 100 units, right? So remember, once again, age 35 was arbitrary, 20K per month was arbitrary, and 100 units was arbitrary. I didn't really think why those are my goals. I just set those as goals. I thought they'd be cool goals. And why I share that is because most people just set very arbitrary goals without really knowing what it is, right? So for me, it was just like, okay, I thought I would never achieve this. I just threw it out there, right? These are my goals. And kind of the downside, there's pros and cons, right? So like the fact that I set such a big goal made me think out of the box to try to achieve these goals. The downside of these goals is that I felt like I had a gun to my head, like literally a gun to my head. And like, they're like, Steven, you must get 100 units. You must make 20K a month. You must do this within 5 years. So I was rushing to buy a lot of real estate. And, thankfully, most of the deals I bought were good. My mobile home park was the one bad deal that came out of this. And I was very distracted in my focus because I just was trying to take whatever opportunity I can get that I thought would make me money. And, you become distracted, you have shiny object syndrome, and you do a bunch of stupid shit like me, right? I bought a mobile home park, lost money. Opened my own pharmacy, lost money. Amazon dropshipping, lost money, right? I was diluted from a bunch of things. So, so you set goals, right? And keep in mind, the initial goals that you set are completely arbitrary, right? So try to put some thought into it and constantly reassess it, right? But key point is set a goal, but reassess your goal. After a while, I just set a goal and I didn't really think much about it, to be honest, until I hit it. So, fast forward, a few years, I got close to my goal, right? So I had 90 units of real estate at the time, but, I had a mobile home park, which was doing poorly. I had a, $6 million net worth-ish, and, I didn't really have a net worth goal. And then my cash flow goal was about 20K a month, but I hit about 10K per month, and, I'm now 35. And after kind of not really hitting the goal, but getting close to the goal, you kind of realize that, it didn't feel as good as I thought it would, right? I hit 90 units, which is close to 100. I was just like, oh, well, I'd rather own 50 good units that cash flow and stress-free versus own 90 units where maybe I'm losing money, maybe it's not stable. So I was like, okay, my arbitrary goal of 100, kind of didn't work out for me. I don't need to get to 100, right? I'd rather get 50 units or the fewest amount of units I can get to hit my cash flow goal of 20K a month. So you can do that by owning good deals. You can do that by selling some deals and paying off other deals to have no debt and increase your cash flow. You can sell deals to pay off your primary residence if you have one, to reduce your expenses. And these are moves that I'm probably gonna have to make if I want to retire early, right? And that wasn't part of my goal. My goal was, if I hit 100 units, I'll probably hit my cash flow goal of, an average $200 per door of profit, right? That's how I kind of thought it. And, for me, as I hit 10K a month, I was just like, okay, well, do I need 20K a month? And I had 20K a month, assuming that it just replaced 2 pharmacist salaries, because higher end pharmacist makes 10K a month take home on average, right? The higher end pharmacist. So me and my wife are pharmacists, so I was like, I want to replace 2 pharmacist incomes. But I never factored in, well, 20K a month is needed assuming I have a mortgage. But if I have no mortgage, I don't need as much. I don't need 20K a month. So it's actually cheaper for me to like sell a single family home, use that, let's say $800,000 of equity to pay off my primary residence, versus if I need to use the 4% rule, and let's say my monthly mortgage was $5,000 a month, that's $60,000 a year. So you times that by 25, and I think that comes out to be about, I don't know, like $1.6 million in order to use that 4% rule. So I'm like, actually, it's more faster if I just were to take the equity and use that to pay off the primary residence and reduce my expense. So kind of a high level is, if you can reduce your expenses as low as possible, and your primary residence, your mortgage, your rent, your base expense, the faster you can reduce that, you can fire a lot sooner, right? Because you don't need to save as much money in your nest egg for that 4% rule. So, okay. So now I'm like, okay, I probably have to sell this property. My first property I bought in 2017, sell that, take the equity, pay off my primary residence, reduce my expense significantly. Now, do I need 20K a month? And the answer is probably not. I probably don't need that. Maybe now it goes down to maybe 10K a month, where I have no mortgage, right? Or maybe 15K, 10 to 15K a month. So now my 20K a month goal is not really valid anymore. And my 100 units is not really valid anymore. So, and like I said, I've achieved some goals. And then the other kind of vicious thing I want to talk about is, so, okay, I set a goal, 100 units, right? Whatever your goal is, you hit that 100 units and you're just like, oh, when you get it, you don't really feel as good as you thought it would feel. And then you just move the goalpost again. And you're like, okay, I want to get 200 units, or I want to get 1,000 units, right? We see all this all the time. And then it's quite interesting. But then, once you hit 100 units, you got to pause and self-reflect and think, okay, like, do I actually like this? Like, do I like this model? Like if I want to get to 1,000 units, the only way is I syndicate. And when you syndicate, you just own a portion of it, right? So you might own like 3, 4, 5% of 1,000 units. Or but you have to deal with investors, you have to deal with, customer service and all that. And, they deal with like, losing people's money potentially or not. Versus owning properties myself, I have full control of that asset for the most part, right? Like if I want to renovate something, I renovate. I don't have to run it through like my partners. I don't have to run it through investors. I just do it, right? So to me, that model seems more favorable, but obviously not scalable, because eventually I'm gonna run out of my own money, right? So that's kind of the thing that I have. Like, so to kind of summarize this, you're basically, in the beginning, you lack something. So you set a goal, and then you set a goal that's arbitrary, and then you achieve that goal, and either you hit it and you're like, oh, it wasn't as good as I thought it was, or you hit it and then you just raise the goalpost again, because you're like, oh, I just hit that. And then so why I'm sharing all this is because obviously it's better to set a goal to you strive towards, versus like do nothing, right? And I think doing nothing, in this day and age, it's more easy than ever. It's easier than ever to do nothing, right? You have so many distractions: TV, social media, events, whatever you want to do. You can distract yourself. But the key is you want to set a goal. But like you said, just know that whatever goal you set a few years ago, it was arbitrary. And once you achieve that goal, it's not going to feel as good. But the key is you put in the work, you improved, you progressed in the right direction, and you basically got to see, do I like this or do I not? Right? So, for me, maybe fast forward 10, 15 years, I may not even like real estate anymore. And maybe I decide to like sell a bunch of real estate, or don't want to deal with it anymore. So I just sell a bunch of real estate, wipe off all the debt on my real estate portfolio. So I sell off half, use that other half to pay off the other half. And now I just own this portfolio free and clear, so that it's, more secured and, less stressful and less volatile. Right? Or I can just be like, well, I still like to buy real estate, but maybe I just want to buy like just really amazing deals once every 3 years and be okay with that, right? Like a home run deal every 3 years versus a base hit deal every year, right? Because like at this point, I know my buy box because I, strive towards my goal, and because I self-reflected, I really honed these little things. So that's kind of the key concept is, just know throughout these 3 points, you have to like self-reflect, because like that's happened to me. Like I literally like was in lack, and then I watched a bunch of YouTube videos in real estate. I'm like, oh my god, this guy bought 100 units in like 2 years, or he syndicated 1,000 units in 1 year, and I was like, wow, this is really impressive, right? Like, how do I do that? Because we're more short-term thinking. We want that quick fix. We want that get rich quick, right? But as I hit it, I just realized the more wealth I've built, the more I realized that it's not get rich quick, and it's more about progress, steady progress over time, and putting in consistent effort and work. That's what truly builds wealth. If you get rich quick, I would say it's more luck than it is skill. And it's hard to replicate that. But if you can sustain it over a long period of time, that's when it becomes more skill. So this is kind of the interesting part about, that whole pin journey. It's like, okay, I started off in lack. I set a goal that was arbitrary, achieved the arbitrary goal, or got close to the goal and realized that, this is arbitrary, it's off base. Let me repivot my goals. Or if I hit the goal, I'll just extend the goalpost even further, and you're just going down this like different rat race without even thinking about it, right? And at the end, you might have built some business or some lifestyle that you completely hate, right? And I think a lot of the short-term rental Airbnb people are going down this route, where maybe they bought 10 single-family homes, short-term rentals. Yes, they're making great cash flow, but they realize how much work it is, and it's not passive. They don't want to do it anymore. So now they're like selling them, doing 1031 exchange, and going to different assets. So if that's not for me, I've always stuck to long-term rentals because that's tried and true, and there's always a need for long-term rentals. And regulations, for the most part, will not affect long-term rentals besides rent control. That's your main one, and your eviction laws, right? That's really the main two things. Or do they protect tenants? So another thing that I want to kind of emphasize is just set goals, but know that they're arbitrary, and then just know as long as you're progressing in the right direction, that's key, right? And I want to hit also that don't be stuck in analysis paralysis. A lot of people just get stuck there. Like they're just like, oh, I've been thinking about buying real estate for like 5 years, and then five years flies by. Just don't be that. Just set a goal, right? But know that's arbitrary, that you're gonna strive towards. So anyways, let me know if you have any questions. If you want to join my mentorship, click on my link tree down below. From there, you get the links to my course, my coaching. You can send me an email if you want a discount code. My email is in the link tree. Otherwise, please like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you next one. Thank you.